I've been wanting to cover this fight for a minute now. We've got a Yu Yu Hakusho banger for you today. The first round finals of the Dark Tournament, Yusuke vs Chuu. These were two unhinged junkyard dogs, let me tell you. Just a quick background, then we're gonna get right into it. So round 1 is Team Urameshi versus Team Rakuyakai, and our boys are up 2-1. They thought they just wiped out the team leader, but Team Rakuyakai's substitute fighter is actually their undercover head honcho. He pulls up pissed drunk, killing 2 NPC members of his own team. He's sipping, he smashes the bottle. Look, he puts the toothpick in, you know he's feeling himself. Man's just going ape while Yusuke is sound asleep. Bro's been sleeping for a day straight ever since the end of his grueling training to prep for the tournament. And you know what? The noise from the fights and the slaughter of hundreds isn't enough to wake him up, but the smell of booze from this degen right here does. Yusuke's mom was an alcoholic, so it's a familiar smell. It's like he's at home. The minute he gets up, he starts instigating the crowd of demons that already want him dead. These two are sizing each other up. Then Chuu grabs the mic and starts spewing some nonsense, takes one last swig before it's time to throw, and look how quickly he's gonna lock in right before we start the match. It's team leader versus team leader. Like usual, we're gonna be breaking this fight down and scoring it with a 10-point must system. This fight is scheduled for 3 rounds. At the end of each round, the winner gets 10 points and the loser gets 9 points or less depending on how badly they lost. The fight can end at any moment by stoppage, but if it goes all 3, the points get tallied and the fighter with more points wins. Alright, sound the bell, round 1, let's go. Chuu starts off by flexing his aura a bit, and then he goes on the move. He's surrounding Yusuke with some crazy speed, making these after images. Yusuke's having a hard time reading him because it's not just the speed, it's the unorthodox movements. He doesn't know when he's gonna come in and with what. Chuu closes the distance and feints like he's throwing a kick, but he opens up with a backhand instead that gets blocked. But he's going for a high-low combo and sneaks in a nice body shot. Yusuke can't get the guard down in time and it sends him to the air. Look at the follow-up. Boom! Backhand to the neck downs his opponent. Nice opening here by Chuu. And actually a correction real quick. They show slow-mo on the screen and the one body shot was actually 5 quick ones with the same hand. I don't know why he didn't just unload power shots here, but my guess is he's either flexing on him or he's thinking of playing the long game mentally by throwing unorthodox combos to keep his opponent guessing. Yusuke gets back up and he's pissed, starts throwing a flurry of straight shots, and Chuu is having the easiest time of his life slipping these trash punches. Come on Yusuke bro, you gotta tighten up. What is this? Chin in the air, mouth open, you're just asking for a broken jaw and a knockout. Telegraphing like crazy too. No feints, no shot variety, just ineffective aggression. For those of you who haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, Yusuke, I'd break his style down like this. He's a refined brawler. He's crafty in the heat of a fight, which you're gonna see later, and he can actually be really slick too. I mean, we just saw him looking nice with it before they pulled up to the tournament grounds. But he's also a street kid who got into fights all the time growing up. That's his base. So he has this habit of throwing technique out the window and getting into brawls, which sometimes helps him out, but right now, not so much. Chuu comes in with a big left hand that gets blocked. Yusuke is slow to counter and Chuu cuts an angle behind him, and look at this. He throws the same backhand that he did earlier and it gets blocked the same way as before. Now I bet you Yusuke is expecting the body shot again, but he gets caught with a huge left up top. Beautiful work here by Chuu. See how he's keeping him guessing? Gave him a pattern, then switches it up slightly to throw him off. Chuu is in control here, lands 4 unanswered straights that make Urameshi stumble. He shakes it off and comes back with the same kind of sloppy work that we've been seeing from him. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Kuwabara gives Yusuke some advice from the sidelines, and his annoying voice pisses him off enough to finally land the big right hand. It connected perfect. Chuu got a little too comfortable here, and Yusuke's anger probably spiked his aura and his speed enough here to catch his opponent, who was maybe a little switched off. But look at this, Chuu wastes no time and comes right back at him and lands a massive reverse crescent kick to the back, sends Yusuke out of the ring, and Chuu grabs the mic and asks for another drink. But Yusuke comes back and brushes it off, says he almost got cooked there but managed to partially block the shot with his shoulder. He knows this ain't no game, this is life and death, but he loves it. He's starting to really lock in as round 1 comes to a close. Okay, so I comfortably scored this round a 10-8 for Chuu. Let's take a look at the stats here. He outlanded Yusuke by a lot, with some huge shots too, downed him and even sent him out of the ring at the end of the round. Yusuke recovered really well, but he even said it was almost lights out at the end there. Chuu starts this one off really strong, but we're only getting started. Let's take a look at round 2. Yusuke starts this one off so boldly, so stupidly, but like a true junkyard dog at the same time. He charges up his spirit gun at Chuu, then fires it away from him at part of the arena. He tells him, "Hey, this is my spirit gun. I got 3 shots left and 1 could probably kill you." He wanted Chuu to know the stakes for this fight are just as real for him too. Bro, he's a dog. He literally spent a quarter of his energy and showed his hand early too, taking away the element of surprise so that the guy who just whooped him last round can lock in even more. He's literally like, "I'm just letting you know, bro, don't get it twisted because of last round." And Chuu is loving it. These two are cut from the same cloth, bro. Both have the same screws loose in their brain. So he's not holding anything back. Might as well go all in. He pulls out the strongest drink at his disposal and downs it. He starts powering up, takes a break to vomit, then comes right back to being hammered. But alcohol doesn't affect him the normal way. Drinking more actually seems to have sobered him up, and he gets this red hue on his skin. He's at his max now and charges up his own energy blast. Yusuke's like, "Dang, maybe that was a bad idea." They're running around ready to clash. Here we go. Chuu launches the blast and Yusuke fires off his spirit gun. Look at the energy clashing, but it's a stalemate. Now they bum rush each other, load up, and start throwing with reckless abandon. Hey, nothing for me to even break down technically because this is just pure back and forth swinging, no defense. And if you're wondering, how can Yusuke keep up here when he was getting lit up last round before Chuu even powered up? I used to think the same thing, but it actually makes perfect sense. Remember, bro was asleep for over 24 hours and just woke up. He was probably all kinds of rusty that first round. And Chuu isn't fighting the same anymore. He got goaded into a dogfight, which favors Yusuke. But he still gets the better of him here and lands a huge right hand that sends Urameshi back. Here's an opportunity while he's recomposing. He charges up another energy blast, this one twice as strong, and throws it. Yusuke's gotta act fast. He fires off the spirit gun, but one isn't enough. It's a double shot. It breaks through. They're both finished. Boom, double impact. Both fighters are dead. They got completely disintegrated. Nah, I'm just joking. They both survived and come back down from the sky. Look, I'm not even sure what happened here. Maybe they started to jump up and took part of the blast and that sent them to the sky? Maybe and probably the energy, since it was compromised, detonated right before it hit them and the explosion sent them up. I'm not completely sure. All I know is they're both beat up and gassed out, and they call each other out on it too. These maniacs are having the time of their lives out here. No more spirit energy or demon energy left. They empty the tank. All they got left now is their hands as we close off round 2. Very competitive round here, and I scored it again for my man Chuu, but this time just a 10-9. Let's go to the stat sheet. You can see they both landed at 100%. I'm telling you, 0 defense this round. I couldn't count all the shots from the big flurry in the middle of the round, so I had to estimate a little bit and added 30 extra landed for each fighter. But either way, Chuu slightly outscored him. What really won him the round was that he won the big flurry by getting the last shot in and sending Yusuke back before they fired off their energy blasts at each other. 10-9 Chuu. The score is now 20-17 in his favor. Yusuke basically needs to finish this third round to get the win, but it's still anybody's fight. Regardless of the scorecards, they're both evenly damaged and wiped out. Let's take a look at the third and final round. Round 3 opens up with Chuu suggesting they settle the fight with a knife-edge deathmatch. Yusuke agrees. So the way this works is pretty simple. Chuu's gonna stab the knives into the ground. They take off their shoes and they put their feet in front of the knives. They both post up. Look at the size difference here, that's crazy. Also, here's a shot of the audience. Look at the chicken sitting front row. No punchline or anything, just pointing out the chicken. Anyways, the only rule to a knife-edge deathmatch is that the edge of the knife is the edge of your world. You don't step outside of that imaginary line. If you do, it's sudden death. The winner is the last man standing. They're just gonna slug it out. Man, Chuu is like that drunk dude from The Ultimate Fighter who just wanted to quote-unquote bang.
Let me bang, man. Let me bang, bro. Let me bang, I man. Do let you bang.
The storm clouds are coming in. Lightning strikes. Nature itself is prepping for the conclusion of this crazy fight between two honorable degenerates. Here we go. Yusuke opens up with a body shot. Chuu comes back with the right hand. They're going hit for hit. Again, 0 defense. This is just a bar brawl right now. Left hand, right hand. Yusuke comes back with his own. Almost folds him with his body shot. Chuu tries to come back in, but whoop! First bit of defense we've seen in a minute. Yusuke counters over the top with the right hand, tries to come in with another right, but Chuu slips and rips to the body. Yusuke's foot gets pushed into the knife, but he comes back with the right hand up top and a flurry to the body. Now Chuu's foot is at the edge. He comes back in. Kuwabara loves what he sees. The glaze that comes out of his mouth here for these two is insane. But it makes sense, he's a street brawler too. The Dark Tournament committee interviews him and he says,
I loved it. It got me high. It got me erected. My dick got hard. You got off on it? I didn't get off. I didn't come, but it got my dick hard.
They're going back and forth and this match is about to come to a close. Chuu comes in with a huge right hand that pushes Yusuke back. He wants to close the show now. Comes in with the headbutt, but Yusuke comes back in with his own and they clash. Guys, there are about 5 brain cells left here between the two of them. Yusuke stays strong, but Chuu's eyes roll into the back of his head. He's falling down and he's out. Yusuke wins the knife edge death match and the fight itself in the 3rd round via knockout. That's a wrap. Chuu wakes back up later and says, we agreed to fight a deathmatch, mate. Finish me off. But Yusuke says, nah man, you're good. We'll run it back again someday. Great mutual respect and sportsmanship here. Gotta hand it to him. These guys weren't the most intelligent, but they definitely were honorable all the way through. Here are the stats for the round. Keep in mind that a lot of this discrepancy in strikes is from the one body shot flurry Yusuke landed, if you remember. It was a lot more even than these numbers might suggest. And here are the stats for the fight as a whole. This fight was as close as it gets. But before we wrap it up, I just have some final comments. First of all, I think Yusuke might have been fighting sloppy here on purpose. Remember, I said he can be slick, but he loves to get into these brawls because that's his base. I think he could see the kind of guy that Chuu was, that he was the perfect opponent to have a dogfight with. And since it's his first fight in the tournament, maybe he just wanted an extra gritty fight to make a statement to himself and anybody that might question his dog. Especially Toguro, who last time they were face to face had Urameshi looking sorry. And one last thing, Chuu switching up his style from a more technical, unorthodox fighter to a brawler might not have been just because of Yusuke's instigating, but also as a consequence of getting peak drunk. Hear me out. If Chuu's drunken fighting style is inspired by Jackie Chan's Drunken Master, which I think it is, then those that have seen the movie know when Jackie gets peak wasted, his style shift is really similar. He goes from being loose and unorthodox to like this stiff powerhouse, almost like he thought he was invincible. I'm cooking right now, you better give me my props. No, but thanks for everybody watching. Big thanks to everybody who's been buying the merch. I really appreciate it, guys. I'll catch you next time, and I'm out of here.